Hello, 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 and welcome to Starting the Day the Right Way, minute devotion for January 8th, 2020. All right, it is the weekend, the second week of the year. All right, so let's hop right into it. So today I heard one of the most scariest phrases out of my son's mouth. He was in the kitchen and I was in the office and I heard him moving things around. And I go, "What are you doing, buddy?" And he says, "Don't worry about it, Dad. Trust me. Trust me," he says. So I was like, "Okay, but what are you doing?" He said, "Trust me." So I did. And I had a feeling what he was doing because I heard a shuffling of a box on the floor. And he's just tall enough to open up the cabinets now, but not tall enough to reach in. And so he was trying to be helpful and get his morning vitamins and stuff. And what ended up happening was he dragged a box of water that had not yet been opened and stood up on it and gave him about an extra foot. And so he was able to reach in and start taking things down and stuff. And then I heard him say, push down and twist, push down and twist, because he was opening up these bottles to get his vitamins. So I was cracking up, but it got me to thinking, who are you trusting? Okay. Now, I find this very interesting. So, whatever reason, I did a search on the middle verse of the Bible. And depending upon which version you're reading, you could end up in Psalm 117, you could end up in Psalm 118, or you could end up in Psalm 119. For the purposes of this devotion, we are going to say that the middle verse of the Bible, I read a lot out of the New Living Translation, and the middle verse in this particular Bible is actually Psalm 118. And there's two verses because it's an even number of verses. So believe it or not, I didn't count them all. So I'm going by the internet, what it's telling me. I don't know if that's a wise thing or not. But there's 15,586 verses before verse 118.8. And there's 15,586 verses after verse 118.9. And here it is. Okay. It is better to take, verse 8, it is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in people. Verse 9, it is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. Coincidence? I think not. Okay. Smack dab in the middle of the Bible, God is telling us to trust him. And considering everything that's been going on in this world for coming up on a year now, almost a year, right? About 2 months away from a year or so, maybe a week or so. We need to trust in him. And it's hard. It is hard sometimes when you are praying for that family member to be healed for a year, for 2 years, for 5 years, for 10 years. It is hard when you are trusting God for the finances to come through. And if God doesn't come through, then there's gonna be some big time financial issues. It is hard when you have been praying for a child to come to know the Lord, who now, this child is now a man or a woman of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and you still praying for them, and you've given them every good example you possibly can, but they still don't come to know the Lord. What do you do? And here it is, right in the middle of the Bible. Take refuge in the Lord. Do not trust in people. Do not trust in princes. Some versions have do not trust in celebrities. It really depends which version you're reading, but it all means the same. You cannot place your trust in people, period. Okay, you need to have your trust in God. And if you're trusting in God, he will not lead you down the wrong path. Okay, I promise you this. I'm speaking from personal experience. He will not lead you down the wrong path. So keep on praying, keep on pressing in. God hears you and he knows the cry of your heart, and he will not leave you. He will not leave you in that condition. So I'm hoping that this is encouraging to you. Take a look at that. I didn't find it coincidental that that happened to be the middle verse of the Bible. Okay. So hope it was a blessing. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye bye.